What is up, everybody? BurningBijuu here, bringing you guys another video on my channel. And this is a new channel, guys, for the Bijuu podcast. Pretty much all the Bijuu podcast episodes are going to be on this channel from now on. So if you came from my channel or TheMystogans, I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. As today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite animes, Hunter x Hunter, which is considered by some to be the greatest of all time. Me personally, I don't share that opinion, but I just really want to talk Hunter x Hunter with TheMystogan because he really loves the series. And yeah, it's a really good anime. And today we're just going to be talking about some of our favorite moments that we really think stand out in the series. And we'll pretty much just go arc by arc and just, list some of the moments that we agree on. So I guess starting off, we'll talk about the Hunter exam arc, which to me isn't the weakest arc in the series, but I would say it's probably like second to last. I think Great Island is the worst. But yeah, so what is some moments that really stick out to you in the Hunter exam arc, the Mystogan?
Some moments in the Hunter exam arc. Well, I agree with you that it wasn't really the greatest arc of the show, but it did a very good job at like introducing us to all the main characters that we came to love, like Leorio, Kurapika, and obviously Killua and Gon. The greatest moment in that arc, though, I suppose. I mean, there were many great arcs. I mean moments, but I feel like what's it? When Gon is facing the ninja guy, I think his name is like Hanzo. When he's facing Hanzo and he doesn't give up, I feel like that was a staple moment that kind of inspired many other series in a way, like many other protagonists, with like the whole never give up thing. And Gon was like a staple character to like represent that in that specific scene, and it was really cool to see because Hanzo was gonna literally like break his arm. Like he even threatened to like take his limbs off, and Gon is like, I don't care if I lose my limbs, I'm becoming a hunter. I don't care. I'm winning this fight. And I really think I really enjoyed that scene because it was emotional and it made us really understand what type of character Gon was. He's arrogant, he's ignorant, and he doesn't care. As long as he achieves what he wants, he'll do it, and he doesn't take the easy way out. Like they established him as a really arrogant character, and that's what I really liked about that specific arc. And I'll also try to think of other moments while you're talking.
Yeah, definitely. Now, pretty much, I'm gonna let you take reign, and then I'm gonna really just come on. Because I'm pretty sure we're gonna agree on a lot of moments. So I'll just add on to what you were saying. Pretty much, yeah, I can agree that the scene with Hanzo was amazing. We got a similar scene in Boruto with Kakashi, where he asked, Boruto, "Are you willing to, cut off your arm?" And yeah, so like I completely understand what you're saying. Like the resolve Gon had in that moment, and to me, that is the best fight in that arc. I mean, other standout moments to me are like our first glimpse at Hisoka's power in the Hunter exams, where he's pretty much the only one to figure out that the proctor wasn't really real. It was actually animal from the hunting world. That was amazing, and just seeing Hisoka's his strength that he portrays in the beginning of that arc, it really sets up the world, because we have to look at it from a beginning art standpoint. You can't look at it from everything else that comes afterwards. You have to understand. You always have to put yourself in the shoes of how would I look at this art if it was coming out week by week? That's how I always look at every anime that I watch. Would I give it the same rating that I give it because I can just watch it all in one go? If I had to wait a week, is it good pacing? And I would say the Hunter exam arc is an okay arc. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. Overall, just okay. But like you said, it did a really good job at establishing its world, which I say the same thing about the New Way arc for Boruto. I think first arcs are always supposed to just do that job in just establishing stuff. I think the Hunter exams, like I said, some moments that it had were really great. I really enjoyed that scene where they're on that cliff or whatever, and they have to like not fall down. I forgot exactly what that was about. It's been a while since I've seen it, but that scene was very intense. And you got to see the hearts of different people that were trying to become hunters. Some of them tried to kill Gon. They don't care. They were willing to do whatever it took to get that license. And I like how in Hunter x Hunter, a hunter doesn't mean like this heroic thing. You know what I mean? Like in Naruto, and I'm not bashing Kishimoto, But in Naruto, if you were to watch The Land of Waves and then you go to the
Yeah.
tuning exams, it's a completely different story when you really look at it. The way the series was set up in The Land of Waves, it seemed like ninjas were going to be this serious thing. And then Kishimoto kind of backpedaled and he was like, no, we're going to make this really shonen like. It's going to be more lighthearted. And I'm fine with that. But when you look at Hunter x Hunter, I do respect it because Togashi, with that first arc, he really established the darkness of the world, and he never really went back on that. And I think the moments in that arc really, they set everything up, like you were saying. So, but
Yeah.
the 100 Gems isn't really an arc that we can really talk about a while when it comes to moments. It didn't really have a lot.
Yeah.
We would now. How would you consider the Zodiac arc? Would you consider that an arc or no? Because it's only 6 episodes.
Well, I wouldn't really. Yeah, it's only 6 episodes, but I mean, it did expand upon the world even more than what it had, and we got introduced to Killua a bit more and where he comes from. Another thing it did was explore upon the character of Leorio. Like, he's never been in Hunter x Hunter. He's always been the like comic relief character, who isn't really the strongest. But in that arc, he had they had to lift like tons and tons worth of like stone and whatnot to get through the gate, and I think this was really cool what they did. They made him the strongest. They made him the strongest in that little mini arc thing. He was able to like lift the most. Obviously, Gon is not human. Well, he is, but he's essentially just like Goku, but human form.
Yeah.
So we can't really count him. But Leorio really proved himself in that arc, and I really liked his character development. Well, not development, but the way they established him. And yeah, just I liked that mini thing. And just like I said before, Killua's character, his family, it was really, really good to see how they explored upon all that, and just really good world building. I wouldn't consider it a good arc, in my opinion. It was cool, but I didn't really enjoy it too much. What do you think about it?
When it comes to the Zodiac arc, I'm gonna be honest with you, real quick, history lesson for people that are wondering what was my experience with Hunter x Hunter. I watched Hunter x Hunter on YouTube, and I was watching. I'm not sure if you've ever seen those. It's like where they put like 10 episodes in one video, and you literally just sit down and watch all of it. That's how I was watching Hunter x Hunter. So when I got
Okay.
to the Zodiac arc, I literally watched it all in one go, and I will say that I felt like the series it tried to go down the path of we're going to get really dark in the future. That's what that arc was really about, is showing the torture aspect of Killia, which I liked because we got hints towards that during the 100 exams. I mean, Killia was open and talking
Yeah.
about that, how that's how he's immune to poison, is because his family did some really effed up stuff to him. So we finally got to see what they would do, and I thought that was interesting. It really shows us why Killia is the way he is. Because his mom's like so effed up. His dad doesn't really force him to do anything, but in his own words, he feels like because of what Killia has gone through, there's no way he can be a normal person. Like he'll eventually realize his place in the world, and he's going to come back to be the heir to the throne. Which I love that aspect because that's so realistic. I mean, I understand that completely. Feeling like you have to be in a certain role because of your heritage. So I definitely get what Killia's dad means by that, and we'll see what happens with Killia, in the future. But yeah, to me, the highlight moments in that arc were the torture scenes, because I feel
Oh
like it
yeah.
really established, the world even more, that they're not everyone's super nice in this world. Like there's gonna be
Yeah.
effed up people like Killia's family, and I just like the morals that they have. I mean, I'm not saying like they're good people, but I mean I like the dynamic where they're just assassins. Like they
Yeah.
don't care if it's right, they don't care if it's wrong. They're just doing a job, and that's all they look at it as. They never consider it right or wrong. They just do the job and then they get paid, and then that's it. So I don't know. To me, I actually do like the art. I'm not gonna say it's great. Like I said, I think the first two arts of Hunter x Hunter are just okay. Which is my reasoning why I don't really think it's the greatest. I think people they look at two arts. When you say Hunter x Hunter, I think there's two arts that people think about. They think of York News City. Give me 1 second. Your mom or dad home? No, no, they're not right now. I'm actually doing something right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm recording. I'm sorry.
No problem. I'm the justice of the peace here in this area, and I'm just running around thanking people for putting me in office and asking for their vote and re-election.
Okay, I'll be sure to give it to them.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great day, sir.
You too.
Oh my god. I'm sorry about that, man. I had I had a mayor come to my house or something. He wants to get reelected, so small town problems, I guess. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. So, basically, yeah, like I said, when you talk to Hunter x Hunter, I think there's two arcs people think of, which I'm glad we're about to go into this: York New City and Chimera Ant, which are great arcs. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why my phone's going crazy. Yeah. So, and spoiler alert, York New City, and that's like people think I'm a Hunter x Hunter hater. I'm not. I just don't think it's the greatest. But there's one thing I will always state: York New City is freaking amazing. I love that arc. And when I straight shotted the series, that was the most fun I had in the entire series, was seeing York New City. I like the whole
really
aspect. Yeah, I like the whole aspect of it's not about Gon and Killy, it's about Kurapika and his journey. And it was just so well done, man. Like, so many moments. To me, it had the most moments in the entire series. You had, I mean, one of the best scenes. I'm not sure if you'll agree with this or not, but to me, one of the best scenes in the anime was when they were in that room. What was it? It was like, it wasn't a ballroom. It was just some place. I forget where it was at. I haven't seen it in a long time. But they started playing the ending song on like the radio or something. Like, that scene was so sick, and it had something to do with the time of the place. Like, something was gonna happen with the Phantom Troop. Like, it was so intense, and I feel like the series never really got that again. And I think the reason why is because the Phantom Troop were just so amazing as a group. They really brought this sense of like terror, and when they started massacring people in the streets, oh my god, that scene was amazing. What are some scenes that you remember from York New City? I know you're probably going to bring up the Uvijin fight, but
of course.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is, what's his name, Lucifer. Man, like, he is such an amazing character, and one of my favorite scenes is when he's just up in the building, just like looking down on the rest of the city. It was just incredible. Like,
that's
his character, awesome. He's such a mysterious character, and as an antagonist, he still hasn't really been explored that much. But in the manga, he has been a little bit. But I feel like the mystery that they gave with his character just made for like a perfect antagonist. And then, of course, you have the rest of the Phantom Troop. They all have their little quirks and all that. And of course, Kurapika's journey. You know, he's essentially the reason that Sasuke exists. You know, I really, really do like the fact that instead of focusing on Killua and Gon in this arc, they did somewhat, but they really, really focused on Kurapika, and that's what really made me enjoy this arc, because during the what am I trying to say here? Sorry, because I remember, if I remember correctly, they stopped focusing on Kurapika for a while, and then suddenly we get a lot of Kurapika in this arc, and obviously his fight. The fact that Kurapika could be this powerful was insane. And they really showcase the power of Nen and what you can achieve through like restrictions and all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
which really separates the Nen from any other type of like, how do you explain it, like power sources? Power systems and all that. And it was really, really cool. I mean, this also plays into the Chimera Ant arc with obviously Gon. Gon kind of did the same thing, but on a much
you're talking about the condition, right?
Yeah, the condition.
It's set up conditioning or something like that. Yeah, definitely, that was an awesome concept.
Yeah, and I really like that they didn't just use that for Kurapika, but Gon as well later on in the story. And his fight, his conviction to kill this guy, it was just insane. Like, you see, the fact that, you know, they had to get these insanely powerful guys. I don't remember the name of the group, but I think they were like hired by like the mafia, and they were supposedly some of the strongest in the world.
You're talking about the 10 Dons, the 10 Dons, right? Yeah, and Lumi, I think, kills them.
They all get destroyed. They literally all get destroyed. But then Kurapika comes and makes this guy just look like a runt in front of him. Like, it was just insane. And
Oh yeah,
the
it was
arc was
amazing.
really, really well done. It set an entirely different tone that we had never seen in the story before. And
Oh,
wow, it was
yeah.
just incredible, to be honest. Like it just went from being this laid back kind of story, to being this.
Yeah, it's where it's yeah, it's a fet at that moment. That's what I'm saying. To me, like almost anyone I've ever talked to, when they say Hunter x Hunter is the greatest, I'm like, well, I can't say that because it's just such a huge jump, like in quality. And I feel like Boruto will be the same way. I think the Moshi art is just in a jump in quality, but to me, that's just like it's not enough. But that's because like me personally, I finished 15 different shonens, so I have like a lot under my belt that I've seen. But like I said, I will state Your New City is freaking amazing. I will definitely rewatch that arc. To me, it's the best arc, period. Because it's not drawn out, it's not long or whatever. It's like what 30 episodes, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's literally like every episode focused exactly what it needed to focus on. It was never like, oh my god, I'm bored and all. Because you had so many players, and to me, I feel like Your New City, with its moments, it's just like a perfect template. Like when people were to ask me, if I had to make a great art, well, what should I base on? I'd be like, look at Your New City. That's how you get so many different characters in an art to all do something that isn't super crazy, but it all plays together in the narrative. And that's the genius of that arc, is because it's about Kurapika's journey, and it never loses sight of that. I was talking to my brothers. I told them we were going to be doing this podcast, and we're talking about our favorite moments from the series. Just he's on Chimera Ant right now, so but I finished the series like 2 years ago. But I was talking to him about previous arts, and when we got to Your New City, I told him, I was like, one of my favorite scenes in all of Hunter x Hunter is the scene where Kurapika is in the car. That scene is so amazing, and he's holding him with the chains, and he tells him, he's like, if you move, I'll kill you. And Corolla's like, I know. It's so badass. Like, oh my god, I love that scene. But anyway, moving on to the arc I don't like. I'm not sure if you like it. Greed Island. What are your thoughts on, like what's some of your favorite moments? Just to me, I actually don't like it. But for someone that loves the series, what do you like about Greed Island? Like,
yeah, Greed Island. When I first saw it, I was kind of like surprised because it took such a different turn. I mean, the concept of it is great. Gon trying to go on this journey to find his father, and this is one of the hints. He has to pass this test. He has to pass the game in order to get closer to his father, and like that idea was really good. But the arc itself kind of was a letdown. They introduced many characters. You had Hisoka, and you had the what was her name again? The sensei during that arc. What's her name? Bisky. Yeah, you had Bisky. I really liked her character, but just I don't know how to explain it. It kind of went from being this insanely serious arc, story, to just going down again to this kind of chill back kind of story where there aren't that many stakes. But the only thing I liked about that arc was yet again Gon's conviction and arrogance. In the final fight between him and the bomber, we literally see him purposely lose his arm in order to defeat this guy. And I really think that showcases yet again what kind of a character Gon was, and why so many people like him as a protagonist and think he's one of the greatest. Because he doesn't care about it showcased he doesn't care about the consequences. He will do anything in order to win. He doesn't care about anything else except he's just very really good. The arc itself, though, I guess it kind of was a letdown. They drew it out far too long. I didn't like too many things about it. One of the highlights of that arc was it was kind of like the dodgeball match. I think
I like that.
That was done very well.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Those were some of my favorite episodes. The way they used Killua, Gon, and Hisoka, that was probably maybe the second best, if not the best moment of the entire arc.
Yeah, and and for anyone watching this, I want you to know, even though I don't think Hunter x Hunter is the greatest, don't think I think it's crap or any dumb shit like that. Hunter x Hunter, to me, is like literally 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for sure. It is great. Just because I feel a certain way about most of the arts, that does not mean I did not enjoy myself. Like I told my brother, I was like, out of all the series I've ever seen, I will state that Hunter x Hunter is in my top 3 and most enjoyable when I was just straight shotting. Because like I said, it never really wastes your time. I think that's one of its biggest draws as a series. You never feel like when they're dragging things out, like it's bullshit. You never think that. You're always just like next episode, next episode. And most of my problems, and I feel like this is very similar to how people feel about Naruto. I'm just gonna jump into Chimera and is like I don't know, everything you say is pretty much what I would have said about Great Island. When we go into Chimera Ant, what people need to understand is I don't think Chimera Ant is horrible. Just because I don't like it the most doesn't mean like I think it's horrible. To me, Chimera Ant's first half is amazing. The whole setup of the king being born, you had all the animals getting weapons, learning how to use nin. There was so much buildup, and it was done so well. I would say the buildup for Chimera Ant definitely trumps everything that the war arc did when it comes to building up its characters. And that it really didn't do it right, Kishimoto, but I think Togashi really aced the pacing with the Chimera Ant art in its first half. Because, like I said, there was so much happening. You had the deaths of some characters, the introduction of Kite, seeing Dawn and Killia unlock new moves. I was actually rewatching some of the Chimera Ant art because the English dub is actually in the Chimera Ant art right now. So I'm gonna start rewatching it, that whole arc, because I want to give it another chance, and then I'm gonna review the art as a whole. But I like the scene where Killia goes into his assassin mode, and he just like freaking like rips that. No, he doesn't rip her head off the ant, but he like twists it. That scene is so badass. And then like Gon doing his scissors technique on that ant as well and cuts him in half. Those moments are so amazing, and that's what I'm saying. Like I love Chimera Ant's first half. The only problem I had was at the second half. I felt like it was too dragged out. They built up Miriam too much, and then what do you call it? They did the whole nuke aspect, which I know some people enjoy, because it is very symbolic. It's a real life, about the horrors of nuclear war and stuff like that. I completely understand the undertones of the arc, but I just felt like the arc wasn't really built up to end like that. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying. Like the arc was built up to like end a certain way, but it feels like they just went in a whole different direction, and I just didn't enjoy that. But I enjoyed the scenes. I just don't enjoy the outcome, if that makes any sense. Like I enjoy myself watching Miriam versus Netero and Gon versus Pito. I just didn't like how it just like ends, if that makes any sense. Like it just it's very cut and dry. There's no like big like final thing. It's just like, okay, they're dead. But maybe the arc was going for that. How do you look at all those events?
Well, I kind of feel the opposite of how you feel about like the first half and the second half. In my opinion, I personally enjoyed the second half more than the first half. And the first half is obviously brilliant, and they introduced this entirely new concept to the story with these chimera ants and all that, and it was actually terrifying. I mean, this is like the biggest threat that we've had in the story, and it was actually terrifying. These weird creatures that could like eat baby. I mean, there was that scene where in the first half where that child is eaten by a chimera ant.
Yeah, I remember that. That was so effed up. I was like, what the?
Yeah, and they really made the stakes really high for this arc, and there was clear danger. Like a single chimera ant without using nin could challenge, people like Gon and Killua. So it was very, very well done. But the thing I like about the arc, and this is why I think it's my favorite arc of all time, is just like you said, the undertones of the message.
Oh yeah, and I completely understand that. Yeah,
like the messages that are portrayed, and I mean, there were clear parallels between Gon and Miriam. They didn't meet each other at all throughout the entire arc. They never once spoke. They never once saw each other. But there was a clear parallel between the characters. And the thing, I don't know, in my head, this is just so wonderful. The fact that Miriam, he went from being a hateful character who hated people and was the opposite of being innocent. He killed and he didn't care, to being a person that was very humane, and by the end of it, he laid dead with do you remember her name? It's not coming to my head.
Komugi or Komugi?
Yeah, Komugi. Laying dead with her, and that was one of the most beautiful scenes because he got his humanity, whilst they did such a good job at showing that Gon went from being the humane character, for caring about people, to being this demon type character, worse than Miriam, someone who did not care about life at all. And we saw that when he killed Pito, and they took away his innocence, they took away his humanity, and that is a clear parallel that was beautiful and genius in that arc. And just the other stuff as well, like I really enjoyed the scene, obviously, like I said in my anime tag challenge, my response to Lazy
you're
Kage.
talking about the scene where, the scene where Gon goes crazy and the screen goes black or something like that. That is a sit scene. Very well
not just
animated.
that though, like you know, when Gon first walks in on Pito trying to heal Komugi, you know, this child walks in and he's just dealt with, you know, Kite being injured by this woman, and now he walks in to see this woman that he thinks has potentially killed Kite, healing this random woman that he's never seen in his life. And I mean, it's not relatable, but you can understand where he's coming from, because he's an innocent child, he's ignorant, and he doesn't understand. He's losing his mind. He's like, you killed my friend, you killed someone who knew my father. This man was important to me. He was the only link I have to my father. You have killed this man, and now you are here healing this woman I've never seen in my life. Why are you healing this woman? And why did you kill Kite? This isn't fair. Why are you doing this? That was the thought in Gon's mind, and that's why he got so mad. And that was the point where he lost his humanity, because he threatened to kill Komugi. And I mean, it was just insanely beautiful. I mean, I just lose my mind every time I see those scenes, because it all leads up to the climax when Gon finds out that Kite is dead. And oh my god, like the pure evilness in Gon at that stage. Like, he went from being a protagonist to being more scary than Miriam ever was. Like, God. And then one powerful scene is when Gon is smashing Pito's head, and oh my god, and Pito acknowledges, she says, this boy, he's just given his life in order to defeat me. He's put all of his hatred into this life energy that he's obtained, and this is powerful enough to kill the king, but he's using it on me. And she says, I am so happy. That is, I mean, the way they developed the three guards was beautiful. Every single guard in that arc, in the final part of that arc, had some type of beautiful thing going about them. They each had their own conviction. Obviously, the most annoying one, I forgot his name, but you know, the fairy kind of one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
He was insanely annoying, and I hated him so much. Yet his purpose really was good. You know, he cared so much for the king, and he cared so much about what the king stands for. Yet he had to go against the king in order to keep him the way he wanted him to be, because the king wasn't meant to be humane, and we have to keep that in mind. But the king slowly started turning more human, and that's what he hated. And then you go to Yuppie, who was this evil character who had no intellect. He was just a brainless idiot. He was a strong guy, you know, no brains. And we see him develop into like a knight of sorts, going from this just a powerhouse to being this guy that, you know, actually has compassion, actually has a brain. He actually has a purpose now other than destroying. And
yeah, definitely.
And Pito, obviously, her only conviction was to protect the king no matter what. I mean, this arc just had so many undertoning, you know, symbolism and all that, and I just think that it was just beautifully done. And my final thing I want to say about this arc, my favorite scene, I mean, when I first saw this, I actually cried. I cried like a baby. I don't know how you feel about this scene, but when Miriam and Komugi, they are lying there, and it's the final scene of the entire arc, and Miriam says, one of them says, can I please hold your hand? And then they just fall asleep together because of the poisoning. The fact that they died together there, I don't know, there was something so beautiful about it, because it wraps up Miriam's character. We see him go from being this evil king to being really humane, being really human. And Komugi, something beautiful about her character was that she didn't care what the king looks like. Obviously, she was blind, but it just, I don't know, there was something.
Yeah, it's based off
something so beautiful.
Majin Buu, because I think you've seen Dragon Ball Z, but there's a scene with Majin Buu where he helps a blind kid, And he says, "Are you scared of me?" And he's like, "I can't see you." And then he heals him or something like that. Yeah, so I think that's probably what he based it off of. But he made it more emotional. Togashi, he didn't make it as like a comedy scene. He made it to end off his arc. I don't know. That was before the pizza scene? I think, right? That wasn't after. Was it before?
I think it was after. I think it was like the final episode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I always get it mixed up, the order if Pito dies first or Miriam.
Yeah, Pito dies first. I'm pretty confident.
You're right, because she's actually connected to Miriam, if I'm correct. She would have known that he died. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. She has to die first before him. So what do you call it? Well, before I get into anything, let me answer your question first about the whole, how do I feel about that scene? Okay, so I'm very conflicted when it comes to that scene, because I understand everything you just said. I completely understand it, and that's why I say I don't hate the arc. I completely understand the undertones, because, like you said, it's very clear. Now, one thing that did interest me is that you had said the whole parallel between Dawn and Miriam. I never caught that until you said that, but it actually makes a lot of sense of the whole, human turning monster thing and monster turning human thing. That's actually very amazing. So yeah, definitely the arc has to get points for that. That was done so geniusly, and I never really caught that until you said it. Like I said, the second half of the arc had its moments. The whole scene with Dawn losing his mind, to me, is, I don't know. I guess I would put it as the best scene ever when it comes to, just breaking down. Like it's so different from anything you've ever seen, like in shonen, at least when it comes to a character breaking down. So we've seen characters like, let's say, Goku losing Krillin. He just got angry. Naruto seeing Sasuke leave. He just starts crying. You know what I mean? He doesn't really lose it. He's just like, well, I'm just gonna train and bring him back. And even in Bleach, Ichigo, he cries. He's like, I couldn't protect Rukia. Okay, I'll train. But Gon loses Kite, and he isn't gonna accept it. Like, he doesn't accept it. Instead, he's like, F everything. I don't care if my life ends today. I'm gonna kill you for what you did. And it's such a powerful scene. And like I said, I just rewatched it today, and I was like, holy shit, that scene is so powerful. Like, it makes you want to cry. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's I can't believe I just said that. I lost some man points for saying that, but I'm serious. Like, it makes you want to cry. Just the scene that almost made me cry when I was rewatching it is the scene where Killia looks at Gon, and he tells him, he's like he just looking at him, and then Pito like goes in her body. Just it's like, with the whole nin ability where when you die you can still move, and she cuts off his arm. And he tells Killy, he's like, it doesn't matter, I don't feel it. Now I'm like Kite, and oh my god, the feels when he says that, because it makes you remember when Kite lost his arm, and you're like, he really meant a lot to him, and losing that person, he just snapped. And like, I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. I'm very conflicted. I've never said the Chimera Ant art sucks. I think it's a great art. It's just not my favorite. And to say it's bad is stupid, because there's so many good moments in it. And like I said, some of those moments, like you were saying, they're not just great moments. They're moments that really are different from anything in the genre. Because like, when we're talking about people snapping, there's always a snap. In every shonen, there's always a moment where a hero goes, I'm gonna let all my power out, or something like that. For Naruto, it was when Hinata, almost got killed. But with Gon, it was just so different. It was like you were looking at your hero just give up on into a villain. Yeah, he was like, F this.
Yeah, the thing that made him more powerful for me as well is the fact that he's a child. Like, Gon was only a child, and this, like, he can't accept it because that's what he is. He's only a child, and he went from being our hero to being the scariest thing we've ever seen in the story. I remember first seeing that, and I was actually terrified of Gon. But then I thought about it more and more. And I remember leaving that arc thinking of so many different things. I mean, I couldn't get that arc out of my head for the next week. Like, no joke. I couldn't stop thinking about Miriam and how much of a message he had, how much of a character, and how many parallels and how much symbolism he represented. and I couldn't stop thinking about Gon and the fact that he went insane like that. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, to me, this arc is just insanely beautiful in so many ways. The fact that this kid, because we have to remember that Gon, he had never experienced death in his life. He had never experienced it.
Yeah.
So for him to lose somebody he really, really cares about, him being a child, and the fact that this caused him to lose his innocence, he's a child, he's never done anything terrible like that, but he ends up killing. He ends up being stripped of his innocence he just stops caring. Like you said, he says, I don't care if I die. I don't care if this is the end. You're going to die now because I hate you with everything. I hate you. And, one impactful scene from that entire, those couple episodes where it was Gon versus Pito is where Pito says, I'm sorry, I have to kill you now. And Gon's face goes stiff.
Yeah, he's just losing it. It's funny.
Yeah, he's just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's just...
Oh yeah, it's a powerful scene. That's what I'm saying. Don't worry, man. Like, even though I don't agree with you, I completely see where you're coming from, and I want our viewer, anyone that watches this video, I want y'all to take this that we're two people right here that are able to disagree, and we're not, bitching at each other. I know that happens a lot on both of our channels. We'll say something people don't agree with, and they just start bitching. But this is really cool. How like I said, I completely agree with you on some of these aspects. It's just I have a different viewpoint on how I look at that stuff. But I completely understand, because like I said, the arc itself has such powerful undertones. The whole, I guess, real quick, we'll talk about the whole. All we've been talking about is Gon versus Pito, but there's powerful symbolism in Netero versus Miriam, with the whole, what is my name? And at the end, he finally tells him your name is, and he does the nuke.
Oh my God, you just reminded me of how beautiful that is. Oh gosh,
yeah,
that is.
And he's like, that's my name, and he's like, okay, time to die, nuke, and then he survived. And that scene, I still remember when I saw that scene, man. Just the episode ends with the ants. They go to their king and they look at his body. He's so effed up, and I'm like, holy shit, he killed him. And that moment, that was one of the best cliffhangers of any anime episode, period. Because you were like, did Netero win? Like, is he actually dead? And they're crying. And I remember, they start crying, and they're like, my king. And then the ending song starts playing. I'm like, holy shit. Next episode, I need to watch it right now. That ending was so powerful. Like, the fight itself, to me, I didn't find it too enjoyable. I'm one of the only people that I know that says that. But I like the ending of the fight. I like the whole nuke aspect. And I think Kishimoto, I think Togashi did a good job at, if I'm correct, you need to remind me on this, but I think before he actually does the nuke attack, like he's building it up, they do the whole flashback, right? Or the narration talking about when they created the technique or something like that, that it killed so many people, and that it's a horrible thing to do, and that Netero doesn't even want to do it. Because it's actually going to star the Earth itself, but he doesn't care because it's like his only option to kill Miriam. It's so powerful, and it meets. And what I liked about that scene, and that's what I'm saying. I don't hate the art. I liked some of these scenes a lot. What I liked about the whole nude scene was that I like how Netero, he has this what would you call it? This conflict within him. Like, he's like, should I do it? It's like he's a human. Like, he knows the impact this is going to have on other people that are even in a close area. They're screwed because of the radiation.
I think that I just want to bring
this
up.
Crazy.
I'll bring this up after you finish talking.
Oh, no. I'm done, man. You can bring it up.
Okay. Togashi, I think that one of the main points in that entire scene was that, we had this human versus this other creature. And I feel like what he was trying to represent is the fact that human is always going to end up on top, and they will always destroy. Human will always end up on top because they have the power to destroy. And that is a very powerful thing in itself. But it's also a powerful message of how, messed up we are as people. We take life. We don't care. We won't give any other life form a chance to be equal with us because we are the top. We are human. And that was a massive plot point. Obviously, another parallel between the two characters. One losing his humanity, and another one gaining it, that being Miriam by the end of that fight also. it was just very well done. I mean, Nitsudo,
Yeah.
I really like his character, but he wasn't the greatest person. I mean, he did have a conflict in himself, but what he was doing, I mean, it wasn't very humane. You can't say it was humane. I mean, it was for the sake of humanity, but
Yeah, the
I don't know,
damage
man.
it was
Like,
gonna do was the damage it was gonna do was gonna impact other people, and it did. So I mean, technically, if we're getting into technicalities, he pretty much killed Komugi because he did it
Right.
on Miriam, and then Miriam got Komugi. And you know, I think that scene too. We're just like going down all day. I like how every other arc we're like this, and then we get to Chimera Ant, we're doing like full freaking descriptions.
yeah, that's
of the
because
scenes.
like Chimera Antark has so many distinct,
Yeah,
distinct scenes.
it's a lot of symbolism. Yeah, there's a lot to actually talk about. It's not just a scene in itself. It's like a way of life. It's life messages. Like I said, the whole everything to do with Netro's nuke thing has a lot of messages, and the same thing goes for Pito and Gon. Well, Gon as a character. There's actually a video. If I find it, I'll put in the link in the description. And I'll send it to you on Discord. But it's a video where this guy is talking about Gon as a character and how he isn't really a good guy. He's like
I
in a
think I might have
gray.
seen that.
Yeah, he's like in a gray area. He only attacks what tries to kill him. Like he has a mindset to where if you're gonna damage what I'm trying to do, well then you're a bad guy. But if you help me, you're a good guy. Yeah, I've
seen that one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never finished the video, but Chimera Ants really plays into that aspect. And like you said, I think to me, I just felt like the second half dragged too much. I think that's why it really goes down for me. If it was only those parts that we're talking about, I think the whole arc as a whole would be perfect. Because like I said, the first half was so like in your face, something happening 100% of the time. It was like a war. And I like that aspect. It was like so many of these humans, they had to get stronger. I mean, one of the best things Togashi ever did in Hunter x Hunter was the aspect of having different classes, where like he doesn't tell you, like that's the genius of Togashi and how he did that. He doesn't tell you straight up, okay, you're this level, you're this level. That's stupid.
Right.
I want to say it's not stupid for other series, but the genius of Hunter x Hunter did it. It was Netero and his group. They went into Chimera Ant, and then Gon and Killer are like, well, we're gonna go, and they're like, hell no, you're weak right now. What you need to do is you need to train, fight against our prodigies, our students, and if you can rival them, you can go with us into Chimera Ant. And that was genius because it gives the main fighters a thing to do, and then it gives Gon and Killer, the main characters, this goal to get to, and that way you can finish your plot points with those other characters or set more up, and then by the time Gon and Killy are done with the training, you're ready for phase 2. Completely genius. And that's, to me, that's why the first half is like amazing, because there was like different levels to the first half, and it kept going up and up and up, and then it's all leading up to the halfway point, which is the birth of the king. I think we can all agree that's the halfway point. That's where it completely changed the art. It became so focused on Miriam as a character and how we need to take him out and stuff like that. We definitely need to do a video just talking about Chimera Ant by itself.
Totally.
Because like you said, it's an art that definitely needs its own video. There's just so much that goes into that art. But and I never watched the chairman election arc, which is the final arc of the series. Do you have anything in that art that you like? I don't care about. I'm one of those people that does not care about spoilers. I'll still watch it. So just say whatever.
Well, Gon did find out about his father in this arc, and they did meet, and that was obviously the best moment because after all this time, Gon finally gets to meet his father, and I feel like it wasn't disappointing because it was the way Gon was written, but like it wasn't the most like climactic scene I've ever seen in my life. Like they met and they hugged.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not like, Dad, I finally met you and all of that. It was nothing like, it was just like, oh, hey, son. And like, what? That would be my reaction. Like, I know about it because I saw it on YouTube. But if I was actually watching it every week and like I had to, like, I watched from the beginning and I waited years to see this moment, I'd be like, what the F? That's it? I thought it was going to be like, come here, son, like hug or something. But at the same time, Just like I forgot what happened in Boruto, and people were like bitching about it. But then you have to think about it. You're like, okay, but what is the character like? Would that
Yeah, you
even
have to
work
think
for
of
the
that.
character? And when we know what we know about Gene is that is who he is. He doesn't give an F about what he did. Like he feels like he did the right decision in leaving to be a hunter. And to me, I think Togashi did do a good job when it comes to Gon, because Gon could have easily have been like another anime protagonist where they're like, well, why did you leave me, or and all this, and he doesn't really make a big deal about it. I think that's
Yeah.
genius, because that goes with Gon's character. He's his son, he acts like him. He doesn't care. It's the way Gon and Gene are. They're like the type of people that they just go with the flow. They
Yeah.
don't care what comes their way. They're just like, well, we'll just get past it. They never really. I'm not saying they don't take things seriously, because Chimera Ant kill Pito, so of course it takes things seriously, but most of the time. And I mean, how do you feel about that? How you go from, Gon, like going full berserker mode, and then you go to the chairman election. Or do you feel like that was too much of a contrast, or do you think that they're gonna play more into the future? I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest
Well,
with you.
the thing is that the majority of the arc didn't really have Gon in it, because then it also included Killua and his little brother slash sister.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, so I mean, it kind of did show the consequence of what Gon did. He would have died if Killua didn't save him. And I mean, the story essentially ends after that, because they couldn't explore what happened to Gon in that specific arc, because they had to flesh out Gon and Jing together. They couldn't have Gon focus on what had just happened and all that type of stuff. But in the
I guess
future,
I get what you're saying.
hopefully in the manga, within maybe this year, if the hiatus stops, I'm pretty sure that it's coming back this year.
Yeah.
So they will definitely have to explore that more. And if it doesn't play into the future at all, I mean, that's kind of redundant, because it gives a lot of opportunity for amazing character development in Gon, because he's lost his innocence now and all that. So if they don't explore upon that more, it will kind of be redundant, and there would be no point to it. But yeah, I don't really
that's
know.
what I'm scared of.
Yeah, I feel like the election arc wasn't the place to explore that, so I feel like it gets away with it somewhat, since it didn't have enough time. It was only like 6 episodes, and they had to.
No,
they had to do
and that's
more-
why I give it a pass as well, because an art that small, like, come on, like that's too serious of an issue to focus on a small art. Like that's stupid. No,
they
no
already
writer is
did.
gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were already focusing on so many different aspects in that arc. So many different, like the 12 Zodiacs, all those characters. I think that's what they're called. The Zodiacs, the
Zodiac family.
Killua, and his family, Hisoka, Illumi, Killua's little sister. I mean, it was just insane. There were so many different things they had to like fit in that small arc. So to fit in Gon thinking about what had happened and like exploring on that, I feel like they definitely get away with it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to ask you, because we're getting close to the end right here. One thing I want to ask you is, what's your thoughts on Takashi as the writer and how he handled key characters? Because I made a video talking about how I felt like Sarda isn't that great, and most people use the excuse, well, she's a kid, and I always get pissed when people say that, because I look at Hunter x Hunter. You look at Gon and Killua, Kurapika. You go to Dragon Ball Z, you have Gohan. You go to Naruto, you have Naruto and Sasuke. It just feels like that's not really an excuse for a character not to be the best that they can be. I don't know. How do you look at the characters of Hunter x Hunter? Do you think Togashi's just a good writer and that's why he's able to make kids work? Or do you think it has to do with the way they're written, pretty much? Like, being a kid doesn't really matter. How do you look at that?
Well, in the case of Hunter x Hunter, I feel like being a kid does matter because of the messages they portrayed with Gon being a kid. Like I said earlier, him losing his innocence. I feel like Gon's character and his morals are based off the fact that he is a kid. So I feel like that writing is pretty incredible. The fact that they captured what a kid is very well in the character of Gon. You brought up that video before. Yeah, he's very realistic. You brought up that video about like how Gon, he can't distinguish between good and bad. If something happens to Gon that he likes, if you do something for him and he likes you, then in your eyes you're a good guy. But if you do something bad to to him and his friends, then you're a bad guy. So that's very realistic to being a kid, because God, when I was a kid, if my own mother did something bad to me, I'd be like, you're a bad guy now, I don't like you for a little while. You know, it's just what being a kid is like. You know, we don't have that sense of we're just ignorant and naive. You know, you don't have that sense of what's right and what's wrong, what's acceptable and what's not. So Gon is the representation of that. Killua is different because he grew up in a different environment. So Togashi, he developed every character in such a way that they stayed the same throughout the series in terms of their beliefs.
One thing I want to say. Yeah, one thing I want to say real fast is that I feel like, and I'm not throwing shade at Kishimoto again. I'm sorry if it sounds like that. But one thing I will give Hunter x Hunter, and which I wish Boruto would do, like, it pisses me off. So I want Boruto to do this so bad, but it doesn't do it. It keeps playing it safe. I want Mitsuki to kill somebody. Like, Killia, remember that scene in the Hunter exam where Killia just like freaking goes through that serial killer and like has his heart in a bag, like that badass scene.
Yeah, that was one of the.
I don't know why we can't get something like that with Mitsuki. Like, I understand they're going off of the whole, you know, you have to be good thing with Boruto, you know, telling him over and over. But like Killia and Gon were like that as well. But Killia was able to kill one guy.
Dude, Bijuu, I'm gonna pee my pants. I'll be back. Hold on a second, bro. This is insane.
Okay, that's fine. Oh my god. We're gonna have to end the stream pretty soon. Okay, guys. Mr. John's taking a break real fast, so just hold up. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Whoever watches this, hope you enjoy it. Like I said, be sure to subscribe, like the video, show us your support, and be sure to check out, you know, both of our channels. I'll definitely be leaving the links to my channel and TheMystogan's in the description down below. So be sure, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, go subscribe to our original channels. We upload different content. I'm actually starting to upload different series on my channel other than Naruto. And yeah, I'm still going to do Naruto/Boruto videos, but I am going to be doing other content as well. And also, guys, TheMystogan uploads like Boruto theory videos, stuff like that. Okay, you're back, man.
I am. Yeah.
Okay. No, I actually looked at like the time. It's only been like 30 minutes. I can't believe that. It feels like we've been talking for like 2 hours. I guess Hunter x Hunter, it's just like, you know, it's one of those series that once you start talking about it, it's like, I don't know, it's a great series. What do you call it? No, like I was saying real quick, and we're about to end this. With Mitsuki, I just feel like it'd be cool if he was able to get a kill. You know, just we know Mitsuki in the beginning of the series, he was all up for killing people, and I felt like we never really got to explore that. For Mitsuki, it felt like Boruto's like, you know, don't do it, and then Mitsuki is like, okay, Boruto, I follow you, and I'm like, oh, like you could kind of be like Killia, like could just like do it real fast, and then we can explore the whole, you know, killing's wrong, man, and then you know he never does it again.
I definitely think that Mitsuki, there are two characters in the next generation that have the balls to kill someone, and those I don't know if I'm pretty sure you'll be able to agree with this. Those people have been shown to be Iwabe and Mitsuki.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I definitely see Mitsuki killing someone within the forthcoming future, like maybe even in the Momoshi. I can't see.
That would be bad.
I mean, there's not really an enemy that Mitsuki will be able to kill maybe Yorishiki if they implement him on
Oh,
Earth.
yeah.
Like maybe imagine Mitsuki meeting Toneri, and then it's like Toneri, Sarada, and Mitsuki versus Yorishiki. That'd be cool, right? But
Yeah.
Mitsuki will kill someone when it comes to life or death situation. Mitsuki will use his instincts and he'll kill somebody. He won't care. He's gonna kill somebody, and that's 100% for sure. We, I mean, like you said, we've seen how much he is capable of killing. Yeah, I mean, an episode like I think it was episode 6, or even the episode he was introduced when he faced Iwabe, he did not care. He was just using his full instincts, and he attempted to strangle Iwabe to death. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter what.
Yeah, that scene was amazing.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what Boruto says to Mitsuki, because when Mitsuki is in a real fight where his life is at risk, Mitsuki is going to kill his enemy, and that's 100%.
Well, yeah, now that you said that, during the fight with Shizuma, he did go for Shizuma's neck. I guess I have to remember that. He didn't know that was a water clone. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see him killing someone.
That was an amazing moment. And what do you call it? Yeah, it's like I mean, in the arc we're in now, it's very possible that huge guy, maybe Mitsuki will kill him. It would actually be a really good development for his character. And it would, now that you say that, well, I said it, but you know what I mean. Now that I thought about that, that's actually very possible, because if he kills this dude, that gives him as a character something to do in the Momoshiki arc. Because we all know, well, if they follow the manga, we know that Mitsuki and Sarada don't go in the dimension with Boruto to go fight Momoshiki. So maybe one of those reasons could be Mitsuki's been taking time off to learn how, to deal with this, like the urge to kill or whatever. That should be a very good reason to not put him in that fight. Because I don't know, I find it kind of stupid how they didn't go in there to help Boruto, but the way the story's going right now, it seems like it wouldn't really fit the narrative. Just going, yeah, Boruto, you go by yourself, you're safe with Sasuke. Like, no, they're a team. Like, that's what the whole point of Boruto is. Like, we're gonna be a team. So I'm hoping that they give good reasons to Sarada and Mitsuki, because I don't know, how do you feel about it? Do you think they're gonna give good reasons for that or no?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, there's a new villain, so I think that they can't have Mitsuki and Sarada not do anything. That would just be stupid, and it wouldn't make any sense. So we're definitely gonna see Mitsuki and Sarada versus somebody, and that could be Yorishiki alongside like some other Jonin. Maybe that'd be definitely cool to see, but we'll just have to wait and see. Like you said,
like,
they can be for nothing.
Yeah, but can you imagine how awesome it'd be? Like, yeah, we're have to end this soon because we're talking about Boruto now. What do you call it? But yeah, like, man, like, can you imagine how cool that scene would be? Like, if Urashiki actually taunts the Sarada and like taunts her because she has the Sharingan, like, that'd be badass. Like, he's like, oh, so you're one of the heirs to the Sharingan, and just like flicker away or something like that. Like, something cool. I'm just hoping there's such a good thread. Like, we need that in the series. We need to feel scared for our characters. And I'm just like I have hope for this arc that we're in right now. That's going to be like that. I think this strong dude is going to be like, I don't know. I just feel like he's going to wreck shop. I think.
I mean, look at
show up. Yeah.
Look at Metal Lee in the preview, dude. Like, stuff is starting to get real, and I'm just praying that we see some awesome fights in this arc.
Yeah. Well, real quick, man. I haven't let you know this yet. I talked to Hodrigon about this. I'm not sure if you know, but I looked at the staff listing for NetSuite's episode, and it is going to be amazing, man. Really? Because the guy that's going to do the episode that's writing it, he wrote the Kakashi Bell test, both episodes.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be lit, and I can't wait for this week. I am so hyped because like the action in that episode was so great. With Kakashi, and if they're gonna make these if they're gonna make these enemies fight like that, it's gonna be ridiculous. And I know everybody's gonna be on Boruto now, and I've been saying that when Boruto gets serious, you're gonna get all these bandwagoners going to it now, and it's stupid because they're like, it's crap, and then we're gonna get the good writers because like I said, let's end this podcast, and then I'll tell you outside because it's getting off topic. Anyway, guys, so this was episode 3 of the BG podcast, which I have TheMystogan as my co-host. And yeah, we're gonna try doing this every week, guys, either on Saturday or Sunday. So be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We're gonna do all different types of anime from now on, not just Boruto. So if you have any suggestions for an anime for us to talk about, leave a comment below. Let us know. Also, comment below what is some of your favorite moments from the Hunter x Hunter series, and how much do you love the series? Do you love it as much as us? And also, guys, I want you to go check out TheMystogan's channel if you haven't already. He uploads Boruto theory videos, reviews, and all types of Boruto related things. On my channel, I'm going to start uploading all different types of anime, be it new anime, old anime, just anime stuff in general, and other things. So overall, guys, that's been the BG podcast. I hope you enjoy. God bless you. And remember, guys, enjoy the experience.